Hello everybody, my name is Brandon. Welcome back to the channel. I am here today with my January movie wrap-up. So I'm going to talk about all of the movies I watched in January 2020. So let's dive right in. The first movie I watched in 2020 was Cars from 2006, and this is directed by John Lasseter. I should say right up the front, this is a first-time viewing for me. So I've seen advertisings for this all over the place. One of the songs is one of the more iconic country songs of the mid-2000s, and that's the Life is a Highway remake by Rascal Flatts, which, frankly, they played so damn much on country stations during that time that I just started hating the song. And still, when it comes on, I don't love it. It's just, it's overplayed beyond. But anyway, that has nothing to do with this movie. Well, the song is in the movie, but other than that, it has nothing to do with the movie. That went places I wasn't expecting. Anyway, back to the film itself. So everyone knows what Cars is about. I'm not going to give a synopsis of it. This one I thought was fun. It was cute. It was very long. I was not expecting it to be nearly as long as it was, especially for kids' movies. This one was just shy of 2 hours or just over 2 hours. I can't remember, but I felt the length of it, which is not always a good thing. Still, I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. The story that it's telling, the lesson that it's teaching, I think is an important one. And, I think it tells it in an entertaining and fun way. So nothing much more I can say about this one. I enjoyed it. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. Next up on my list is one I just talked about in my January pickup video, but this is 1939's The Wizard of Oz, directed by Victor Fleming. I picked this one up on 4K because it was supposed to have really, really good picture quality, and I agree. The 4K picture on this looks fantastic. When you go from the black and white, it's not even really black and white, it's like that sepia tone, basically, to the color once she goes into Oz, is very, very cool. The sepia tones, I mean, the picture's fine, but it didn't blow me away. It wasn't really until we got to the color portion of it that I was really impressed with the quality of the 4K image. So, this is another one. Everyone knows what this movie's about. I don't have to talk about that. This one, it's fine. I respect the movie for what it is, but it's not a favorite of mine. I don't know even how often I will rewatch the 4K now that I own it, but it's one that I would definitely show my daughter when she gets old enough to appreciate it. And it is what it is. It's a fun little musical. I think the behind the scenes of this movie is a lot more interesting than the movie itself, but it's fine. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Next up is one that my opinion is probably going to upset some people, but that's how it goes. This is 2019's Aladdin, and this is directed by Guy Ritchie, and it is very much a Guy Ritchie film. But I don't think that's a bad thing. This one I enjoyed 1,000 times more than I ever thought I would. I recently watched the animated Aladdin, the original, back in, I think it was in December, and I thought it was fine. I didn't love it though, and I didn't really grow up with Aladdin, so I don't have a nostalgic attachment to it like many people do. But because of that, I didn't think I'd like this one very much, but what this made me realize is how good some of the music is in Aladdin that I kind of didn't respect the first time around, which I actually mentioned on Twitter and then, admitted I was wrong. The music for Aladdin is much better than I gave it credit for when I was talking about the animated film. But this one I thought was so fun, and I have a new crush right here, Naomi Scott, which I'm actually going to talk about in a few minutes again as well. She is so damn good as Jasmine. Her voice is amazing. She has that new song, which I don't know the name of, I guess, but there's a song that's in here that's not in the original movie, and it's beautiful. She sings it so well, and obviously she is just beautiful and such a wonderful actress, and I just have such a crush on her now, like I said. But Will Smith, I thought, was so good in this too. Now, obviously, trying to fill the shoes of Robin Williams is an impossible task, but Will Smith does his own thing with it, and he does so damn good. So if I had to choose between watching the animated movie again or the live-action remake, I'm going to go with the live-action remake, to be honest with you. I really enjoyed this one. I gave Aladdin 2019 4 out of 5 stars. Next up is probably the best movie I've seen in years, and it's another one I talked about in my January pickup video. It is from 2019, Joker, directed by Todd Phillips. Oh, this movie. What a disturbing, brilliant film. Joaquin Phoenix puts on the best performance I've seen in his career, and just one of the best performances I've probably ever seen. Robert De Niro is fantastic in this as well. The direction is so good. The cinematography is brilliant. The 4K disc looks stunning. There is so much about this movie that I absolutely loved. I cannot recommend this one enough. It is intentionally messed up, but it has a very important message in here that is worth telling in 2019, 2020, in this time that this movie was made. I'm not the first to say it, I'm sure, but this is definitely a modern day Taxi Driver, and I don't think it's disrespectful to Taxi Driver to say that at all because of how well this movie is done. I know this is an incredibly divisive film, but I come down on the side that sees this as a bona fide masterpiece. It is fantastic, brilliant, wonderful, disturbing, messed up in every imaginable way, just brutal, violent, and absolutely must-see material. I give Joker 5 out of 5 stars and recommend it to anyone who is willing to give it a chance and is willing to kind of accept the violence of the film, which is not a ton, but when it's there, it is just in your damn face. So be prepared for that if you are interested in watching the Joker and haven't seen it yet. I love this movie. Cannot recommend it enough. Next up on the list is Venom from 2018, and this is directed by Ruben Fleischer. This is a film that I've not heard a ton of good things about, and I remember when it was in theaters, people just weren't giving it a lot of love, but I really enjoyed this. I thought Tom Hardy did a fantastic job as Eddie Brock and as Venom, of course, and the special effects were a lot of fun. The story itself, well, not the deepest story out there. It was entertaining and engaging. I really liked the acting throughout. The story, like I said, was just fun. It's another kind of one of those silly superhero films that is just there to entertain and little else. And that's fine by me. You need those every once in a while. The 4K picture on this looked really good. Not one of the best I've ever seen, but I think it does a really nice job for what it is. This is one I spent like $8 on Black Friday. So for the price, you can't beat the value. So Venom from 2018, I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. Next up on my list, and the last movie I want to talk about today, is 2017's Power Rangers, and this was written by Dean Israelite. So this is another one that helped my crush for Naomi Scott grow even larger. Like I said, she's my new favorite crush of 2020, and she is so great in this, just like the rest of the cast, of course. Much like Venom, I did not hear a ton of great things about this movie in theaters, and so I didn't know what to expect, but I picked it up on 4K, and I loved it. I think it's so much fun. Sometimes you just need to shut your brain off, just like with Venom, and this one does that. There is a lot of teenage angst in this film, but that's okay. That's just where these characters are at that stage of their life, and it makes sense. It wasn't unrealistic. It was just a lot of it, but I can definitely look past that because of all the fun action that's in this. I think this movie was really, really enjoyable. If you have been waiting on this one for whatever reason, I think it's worth checking out. It was very nostalgic because of course I watched Power Rangers when I was a kid, absolutely loved it, and this made me fall back in love with the world that Saban created with the Power Rangers. I think it's just a lot of fun and definitely worth your time. I gave Power Rangers, just like Venom, 4 out of 5 stars and think this one is definitely worth watching. Alright, so that's going to do it for all the movies I watched in January 2020. What did you guys watch this past month? Anything good? Anything worth talking about? Let me know down in the comments below what you watched. I'd love to have a discussion with you guys down there. If you like this video, please consider subscribing. If not, thank you anyway for watching. I really do appreciate it. Alright guys, I want to thank everyone for watching, and I'll catch you next time.